I'm Colin Hall, and my son and I run programs for many years, and on all our programs we invite people to tell us stories that teach wisdom. And one of the most amazing stories, and I've told it many times but I want to tell it again, comes from a young woman, Irene, who had won a bursary to come on one of our programs because she was a celebrated builder of RDP houses. She said, "When I was young, we were poor. My brothers and I lived with my mother because my father was an angry man and he was in jail for his anger. And the only way that we could survive was because my mother sewed sheepskins into car seat covers. And in order to get sheepskins to sew, my brothers and I, and they were younger than I, used to walk to the factory. And that was a long walk. And on the way we had to cross a river. And in that river there were crocodiles. And the only way you could cross that river safely was by way of the tebi tebi, which she showed with her hands, was the bridge that sways, obviously a rope bridge. And she said, and there were not enough pieces of wood for you to put your feet on safely. And as you walked across, cautiously and carefully, if you looked down, you could see the crocodiles in the river. She said one night we couldn't sleep because we hadn't eaten for several days, because we had not had any sheepskins. So my brothers and I decided to go in the night so that we could get to the factory early and be first in the line. So we set off. But when we got to the river, it was very scary, because in that river there are crocodiles. And even when you cross the tebi tebi, which is the bridge that sways, and even if you think you can see the wood to put your feet on, what you can see when you look down between the wood is the crocodiles. But we got across and we got to the factory and we were first in line. And we were waiting there, it was still dark, when a policeman in a police van drove up. And he put us all into the back. And he did things to me that I don't wish to talk about. But when he was finished, he brought us back. And by the time we got back, the line was very long and we didn't get any sheepskins. So we walked home. And on the way home, we worried. And when we got home, we worried more because we couldn't tell my mother what had happened to me. And my brothers were ashamed because they hadn't been able to protect me. So there was anger between my mother, who thought that we had slept on the way. And there was anger between me and the policeman. And there was anger between my brothers and the policeman. And then she started to talk to me as if I had been the policeman. And she said, now that anger is like the river. And in that river there are crocodiles. And the only way to cross that river is by way of the tebi tebi and the wood. And she said, so my job is to put down my burden of anger and pick up the wings of forgiveness and cross that tebi tebi to you, across the crocodiles, and gift you the wings of forgiveness. I said to her, Irene, that's crazy. Surely I must come to you for forgiveness. I must cross the tebi tebi. Or at least we should meet in the middle on a win-win. She said to me, you with your burden of guilt and me with my burden of anger, if we met on that tebi tebi together, we would fall into the crocodiles.